Hey everyone, and welcome to 121 Overload. I am Peter, that is Matt, and we talk about movies on this show. Specifically, this is a once a month movie show that we do. It's a voted for episode by our patrons over at patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. And the whole idea is that I pick a movie I love, Matt picks a movie he loves. We possibly might try and pick something the other person will also hate. I mean, not always, admittedly though. I don't think I did this time, but
No.
so we each have a pick, and then those two go up for vote. Our patrons vote on them, and the winner gets done. So they vote through all last month, and then the winner of that we do this month. And the winner of that vote was you say it because you say it the proper way. I always just say Diabolique.
Les Diaboliques.
There you go.
Yeah, and I know zero French. I've heard it enough. So this is a movie that's been on the periphery. Like, I've heard it talked about on various, like, movie TV shows. I was trying to find the right wording for that. So, like, when they count down, like, top 10 gripping thrillers.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Or, like, top 5 horror movies or picks by this director.
Yeah.
This one tends to pop up. There's a lot of crossover. Yet, I'd never seen it, despite me seeing a huge portion of Hitchcock's films of about the same time. You think I eventually would have stumbled upon it, but yeah.
Yeah, so we'll start spoiler free, which, it might seem like it's from 1955. Why you start doing a spoiler free? Because, well, you might not have seen it, you might not know what it's about, and I feel like this one specifically, it's worth not knowing where it goes. It is very much worth it.
It's kind of like Psycho in that way, to where it's kind of hard with Psycho, because Psycho is pretty ubiquitous.
This might be the only movie I have ever seen where at the end there's a card saying "Don't spoil this for your friends."
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Seriously, it comes up at the end saying that.
1955. Like, that's insane. That's like 62 years ago? I'm terrible at math. But
yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Nailed it.
But what I love about that, though, is the modern day equivalent would be, hey, don't be a bunch of dicks and post the ending on Twitter. That'd be the new equivalent of it.
Well, so I remember kind of that with Split. There was kind of, but everyone did the opposite, and that's what made me go see it. Was finding out about the ending there. So, but yeah, that was really fun. That when you got to the end of this, there was a thing like, hey, tell your friends to see it, but don't tell them the ending.
Yeah,
that's pretty fun marketing.
Yeah, so, and obviously it's counting on word of mouth and all that. So if it wasn't clear, I don't know if I made it actually clear, but this was my pick from last month that won. So,
0 for 1.
Yeah.
Don't let me down, guys. I need one.
Now, technically it's 2, but the first one wasn't a vote. You just picked a movie that I liked that you wanted to watch for some reason. But
yeah, that's why, because I said I was 0 for 2 and you corrected me, so then I went with the correct one. You still tried to correct me, so.
Oh no, I'm just making it clear. I'm just making it clear.
Pete is like Diabolique. I can't even say it.
Which translates as the devils.
Or the fiend.
Or the fiends. Yeah, the fiends, yeah. My subtitle said the devils. And to be fair, I was watching it on the Criterion, so I mean it's not some cheap knockoff copy, it's the best of the best.
That's the fun with words that have synonyms. Like they can, I mean, diabolical is right there. Like, this is probably the root for diabolical.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
But yeah, so guys, we missed out on making Pete watch a Tim Burton movie. So good on you for that one. So
the people spoke, and they spoke with intelligence and compassion. That's what happened.
Yeah, but Big Fish is such a good movie.
Well, now I'll never know. Now I'll never know. Yes. Okay, so what is Diabolique about, or Diabolique, if I'm trying to do the posh pronunciation. So the spoiler-free version of the synopsis is that it is about two women, one who is the wife of the school principal and one who is the mistress of the school principal, and they team up because they both hate him.
They're friends. It's such a French thing. Like,
well, to be fair, I think they've bonded over how awful the guy is.
Yeah, because it stated that he has other women too, but they don't like those two. I feel like they bonded because they both work at this school,
Yeah, it's
And
a
they
private
both,
school for boys, is specifically
yeah,
what it is, and we're coming up on this like long weekend where the kids are all going home and going away for vacation, and that's all happening, and they decide to plot their plan, and pretty much all I want to say in spoiler free. The only other thing is I want to commend it for this actually is that they never actually just flat out say that they're planning on killing him. They never actually
no,
say that. You just sort of like you get like a little hint of it, and then there's a bit more from context. There's a bit more context, and then they start talking about making sure they've got an alibi, and it's like, and by that
yeah.
point you're like, okay, I know what they're going to do, but they didn't just come out and tell me. They let me
Yeah,
get
you
the
know they're up to
breadcrumbs.
something, but you're not quite sure. So it's like
Yeah,
I was going along the lines of, are they gonna finally confront him? Just be like, hey, we're not stupid, like, and then the fallout from there, and that's what makes it like this noir thriller is him, on the run or whatever. But no, of course not. It goes into some dark places, as well a noir should, you know. But it's also not a traditional noir because
yeah.
there's not really
It's
a
funny because
dinginess to it.
you're calling it a noir, and I don't know if I would call it that. At least in the traditional sense.
Yeah, but I mean, there's still a femme fatale. There's still an underbelly aspect going on.
Yeah,
And,
no, sure, yeah. There's definitely
you
some
know,
of the things are there,
but
but
I've seen it pop up on horror lists, and I don't see that at all. I mean, at
I
worst, it's a thriller.
I can kind of. What do you mean at worst?
So when I say at worst, I don't want to say at best because that makes it seem like it's better that it's a thriller. So, you know what I mean?
It still
I don't
means
wanna-
that though, because now it sounds like you're saying horror's at the bottom of the ladder, thriller's a little bit above it. So at worst, it's a thriller.
No, but see, because to me, there's not a lot of horror elements. Like, there's more suspense.
No,
It
yeah.
feels definitely more like a Hitchcock. Like Psycho is definitely much more of a horror film than a thriller
Yeah.
film to me, compared to this, where this feels much more of a thriller.
This is a dark thriller. That's
Yeah.
how I would class it. It's a dark thriller, with a fantastic visual style. When things get dark, the camera starts it starts experimenting with the light in such fun ways, with shadows across faces, dark corridors with the door opening just to give you the little beam of light.
That's the thing I noticed more. I mean, it probably didn't help that when I watch something that's not in my native language, so in English, I don't really pay attention to the acting and the directing as I know it. So I started to pick up on more of the technical aspects of it. So that's why I like Inglourious Bastards a little bit more than the rest of Tarantino's, because I was picking up on more of the artistry, because a lot of that's in Italian and French.
That's interesting. I've never heard someone say that before. That because it's not in English, or your native language, whatever it may be, it almost forces you to read the filmmaking a little bit more, because that's kind of what you're relying on. Obviously,
and that might just be because I went through film school, and that's how I look at things. But like, I don't know if that's the average person's take on that. I know my dad hates watching subtitled movies.
Yeah, to be fair, Matt, I think the average person just doesn't like subtitles and wouldn't watch them.
Yeah. I remember taking my dad to see Inglourious Bastards, and once he realized there was going to be all these subtitles in a Tarantino movie, he was like, "Yeah, you just let me know when it's over," and he kind of conked down in the theater. When he can't pause it and read, he was kind of out. But yeah, so I was able to pick up on a lot of the cinematography, and even the editing too, but more so the cinematography with the shadows and the light.
There's some nice transitions, just because you mentioned the editing there. There's a great. This is completely spoiler free. There's a moment where someone pushes a big hamper. This big sort of wooden sort of
like a wicker basket.
It's a big wicker sort of. Basket trunk. Feels like a weird thing to say because it's a trunk. Yeah, cause it's a big cubic thing. But she throws it down these stairs and it creates this big loud thud. But as it does that, it actually fades to all these school kids running down another set of stairs, and it's this nice transition. Just simple little things like that.
Definitely.
Very good. Actually, I'm a big fan of this filmmaker. I'll just make sure I get his name right. Henri-Georges Clouzot. Forgive my pronunciation of anything French, but he's made some fantastic films in his time. This, along with Wages of Fear, and then The Murderer Lives at 21, are three of the films of his that I've seen, and I've basically loved all three of them. So
just based off the title, I want to see The Murderer Lives at 21.
Yeah, that's good. I'd probably say that was the weakest of the three, but it's still solid.
Yeah,
really
well,
solid.
that's just like why I watched Dial M for Murder, just because the title. hooked me.
That's
You know what I
also
mean?
pretty good, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I like Island for Murder a lot. But yeah, sometimes these older movies, just the titles, I feel like we don't have the fun titles anymore.
Actually,
Like,
I'm going to tell you what the plot is of Wages of Fear, because I think you'll want to watch it
uh-huh.
when I tell you what it is, the premise of it. It's basically these four poor guys are paid to take two trucks across the US. The reason why they're getting these poor guys to do it, though, is because what they're transporting in the back is nitroglycerin, and if they hit a bumpy bit of the road,
Oh
it'll blow
man.
up. So it's
So I'm
based.
pretty sure that movie is tenser than tense.
Yeah,
Like,
it's basically 2 hours of we might blow up at any
yeah.
point. It's great stuff.
And they don't know they're transporting
Oh, they do.
nitro.
Oh, they
Oh,
do.
they do
They're
know. Okay.
sweating because if I remember right, there's a point where they get to like a more gravelly kind of bit of road, and they're like, "Oh
Oh man.
no, oh
See,
no."
that's storytelling 101 right
Yeah,
there. Just like simple premise, and you're hooked right there because we
yeah.
understand. Whereas, here in Diabolique, it's a little more mysterious, and I don't want to say mysterious, but there is because like you hit it on the first.
Part of the whole point is the mystery of what's going on because
Yeah,
even.
the first half of the movie, you're not really sure what's going on.
But the funny thing is,
You have
the first half of the movie is actually more straightforward once it gets going, and then the second half of the movie it gets really mysterious because then you're in the dark like the character because in the first half of the movie the characters know what they're doing and you're just kind of picking up as you go. The second half of the movie the characters don't even know what's going on and you're like what's going
right.
on and like you're questioning all these things. I don't want to say anymore because it is completely
No,
spoiler
no,
landmine. So but yeah. I can't recommend it enough. I need to go into spoilers. We need to talk about plot.
okay.
But I guess I'll say acting's good from the three leads.
hmm
And yeah, so good. Obviously, we talk about the
Yeah, and
directing.
even the surrounding characters are pretty good. There's the I don't know what exactly he was at the school, but he's kind of like their butler, I guess. I think they kept calling him the concierge,
Yeah,
but he's
there was another.
super put upon.
Yeah,
Uh,
there was a couple of teachers, and then there was the groundsman who was there as
yeah,
well. There was a few characters around the school, and yeah, so, yeah, and they were kind of like comic relief because it cut to
yeah,
them like cracking jokes about things, but it would also inform you about because that's how you actually find out for sure who the two leads are
about
because
yep.
one of them cracks a joke. Oh, this is strange. Like, why is the wife and the mistress off talking to each other? Like so they're used as a sort of way of getting some exposition out in a kind of a fun sort of tangenty way. Uh,
Yeah.
but their reactions to stuff later on are pretty amusing. But yeah, so we're going to spoilers. So full spoilers from this point on for Diabolique. So the first half of the movie, you slowly learn that they're trying to kill what's his name?
Yeah.
Michelle. That's the principal's
Yeah.
name. They're trying to kill him, and they're leaving on vacation for this 3-day weekend. They go to Nicole, who's the mistress. She's got like her place where she's got some tenants, and it's all part of the plan. What I like about her plan is that no, there's people there who are witnesses that we're there, that we went there,
Right.
and part of the plan involves them not knowing that he shows up because they actually she makes the wife makes a phone call, Christine or Christina, and she says, "Oh, I want a divorce," and that angers him. So he's like, I'm coming to see you. I'm coming to see you, God damn
Yeah.
it. But she knows that he'll go out of his way to not let anyone know that he's been forced to go and track down his wife.
By himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all
Yeah.
very well played, and you can see the pieces all falling into place.
Well, also should be noted too that Christina she's frail. Like you see from the first time you see her, you kind of hint that she's kind of sickly. You don't
Yeah,
really know
she's got a heart
what it
condition.
is.
She's got a
Yeah,
heart condition. You feel
you
that
find
at the
that
right
out.
time. And the other big part of her character, of course, is that she's not sure she wants to go through with it. She has a moral compass. We find out that she never divorced them because that's a sin. Like she's religious and
Right.
she doesn't want to hit. And I'm like, what? So murder's better? like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe the Bible's a bit lopsided in its rules there a little bit. But if
Yeah.
this is okay, but. So she's like, got the guilty conscience, and she's kind of, and that's a big part of the movie because once they go through with it, she's like guilty and just she gets worse and worse as the movie goes on.
Yeah. It
Um,
wears her down because you can start seeing her as the movie goes on. She
Yeah.
starts to wear it physically.
And I think
She moves.
what the first chunk of the movie does really well is you hear a little bit about the plan, you don't know quite what they're doing yet, and she's like, no, we can't do this. This is silly. This is evil. We can't do this, Nicole. She just kind of refuses. And then we get a scene in the cafeteria when he forces her to swallow this cheap food because he was cheap in buying the food, and he's like, no, swallow it for all the kids. But he has an excuse. He's like, oh, I've got a bad liver, I can't eat that. But you eat it as an excuse, and then he's nasty to her. It's implied he beats her, things like that. Like, he's downright atrocious. He's horrible to the kids. He's just, he's a despicable human being. So every time she starts to get guilty before it happens, he then does something that reignites why she wants to do it. Yeah. Because that's kind of the thing, when they get her back to the room and they've poisoned this like wine or whiskey or whatever it is, and it's on the table, and he goes to take a drink, and she goes to take it away from him. She's hesitating. She's saying, no, I don't want to do this. And then he ends up hitting her and, like, calling her a dumb bitch or whatever, and immediately he goes for another drink, and she just lets it happen. And then she pours him another one, and you can see that that's what I love about it. The storytelling is so strong that you can see the gears turning in her head as she decides, no, I'm going to let you do that now. And she does. And it's a big moment.
Yeah, and I think that is helping, too, that it's not in our native language, too, because we're watching all this go down, and we're having to infer a lot what's going on just by body language. So, at least, and I'm speaking for you, I don't know if that was your experience. That's what I did. Because the way that she stands towards him, there's an on guard to her.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. She's very much in that character's mindset the whole time, and to an extent, so are we. She's kind of the character we're following along with.
She's kind of our viewpoint, because she seems to be well liked by all the kids, right? Like Nicole, the mistress. It's like, well, yeah, she's a teacher too, but we don't get to know her like we do. Because
there's that simple moment at the start where she gives the kid out of trouble for drawing in the wall, and then he comes out and is like, oh, because of that, no vacation for you, you're in detention over the weekend. And she turns around and says, oh no, I was just giving him a warning, you don't have to punish him. It's like, what, that makes it okay? Like, because he did well on a test? No, punishment. And he walks off. It's just a simple little thing that shows she has a bit of a heart, she's a bit compassionate, and then he's like, no, militant, I'm in charge, you do what you're told.
Well, and there's the one kid that has to keep standing in the corner, which I thought was a fun little through line. Like, because I don't want to jump ahead, but that poor kid spends more time in the corner for not doing anything, but being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did break a window, but at the same time, he's actually telling the truth. We don't know this at the time, and he gets sent to the corner for lying about it.
Well,
so
I think we speculated it, because at the time we were not sure, like, if he's alive or not. We don't know for sure. So we're like, oh, maybe he is. Maybe the kid's telling the truth, and that's like, it's part of the mystery when we get to that part of the movie. Yeah. But yeah, so she like lets him drink it, and I think what I love is that this scene when he comes in that room and we know what they're trying to do. This is where the suspense just kicks in. Like, from this point on, the movie's basically suspenseful the entire time. It never lets up. Because even though before that it's building up to it, but you don't really know enough about what's going on. But once he's in the room and she's kind of trying to trick him into drinking it, and from everything from there, from getting the body in the bath and disposing of the body, and again, comic relief, the tenants who are in the house. Apparently, this bath is louder upstairs for them than it is for her next door in the next room. Because he's up late complaining that he can't get to sleep because they're running the bath, and it's this torrential sound.
Yeah, so that's my one drawback, and it's not, it's a movie of its time. They're differently paced. I felt it took a lot to get to the inciting incident here, but that's the point. You know what I mean? I just having no idea what this movie was about. Like, again, I knew it was called the Diabolique. I always stumble on that one, and I know that it's like this noirish, that's true comparison to Hitchcock. I had no idea what it was about. So here I'm watching, there's this French school stuff going on, there's this bad principal, and I was like, okay, well, when are we getting to this slice of life stuff? And it's all very good. It was just the pace through me.
It's planting the seeds. I don't think I noticed it, at least not this time. I've seen it before. Maybe in a rewatch you won't, because I think in a rewatch you'll be paying more attention, especially with a certain character and looking for maybe how you read them differently given
looking for tells
the ending. But so this all goes down, and like again, she's like breaking down after the fact. Oh, we can't do this, and they drive back the next day. She wants to go that night because she's feeling like, I want to get this over with. But no. That looks guilty. It looks like there's something up. No, if we go as planned tomorrow, we have our alibi. It all makes sense. And they actually dump the body in the school pool with the expectation that someone else is going to find it.
Yeah, and this pool is dingy, it hasn't been taken care of, so it looks more like a pond,
Hmm.
you know, and because that comes into again the cinematography, the way the light bounces off of the pool, just it looks like eerie, because there's this whole scene where they're trying to see if the body's gonna pop up from the pool the next day, and they're trying not to get into the water because it's gross, and just they gave the whole air onto them, like they look dirty, kind of.
Yeah, also, I want to point out actually the moment for me where it starts getting moody with how it's shot. It's actually
Hmm.
just after he's taken the poison and he's lying in the bed and there's this shot of his head and he's just kind of like this and the shadows
Yeah,
coming down on him. I think from that point on he looks creepy as hell the rest of the movie. Like
yeah,
see after they drown him and he's just like lying there and his hair's kind of dripped down and
yeah.
he's motionless. It looks so good. It looks there's so much like atmosphere and just it's kind of oozing it and you're kind of
Well, the actor already has a kind of skeletal face. Like he has really deep sunk eyes, and he's really gaunt in places. So when he gets drowned, like he definitely looks more like a skeleton. Like it was weird. Like, and I don't know if they casted for that or if that was just
maybe they did. I don't know.
well placed. But yeah, he was good too. Like I believed him as a complete and total jerk.
Oh, he's
That,
awful.
that-
He's the
yeah,
worst.
without like there's sometimes when you see a bad character, you're kind of like, well, maybe we're seeing a bad side of him to drive the story. And it's like with this guy, I was like, nah, he's like this through and through.
After all,
So
remember the title of the movie, so
yeah,
like yeah,
yeah,
yeah he's fitting the bill. Um,
yep,
so from that point on though, like no one finds the body. Like and again, like Christina is like really feeling guilty. She's feeling like panicking. She's paranoid. It's not good for her heart. She's like looking out the window constantly at the pool. Is someone going to look in there? And there's a great fake out moment where the groundsman's like he's over
yeah,
there with the pool rake and he's pulling something in. Oh, he's found
yeah,
something. Oh no, it's just something else.
yeah,
And eventually, of course, they drain the pool and there's nothing there.
yeah.
And
Where's the body? I yelled that, and my wife's like, you need to calm down. So we're sitting there eating dinner, and I go, where's the body? And yeah, it
and
was
that's where the real sort of mystery element comes into it. And because for the rest of the movie, it's kind of like Christina being paranoid. And I like that after a couple of incidents here, Nicole for the first time also shows signs of weakness, signs of paranoia, where she's starting to get anxious and worry. And what I like about that is it's especially when you're analysing it from like after the ending, it's kind of like she's doing that because so throughout the movie so far, she's always appeared strong. She's always the one who's like sure of what
she's
she's
so
doing.
confident. Like
Yeah, and
just to look at her, like she stands tall and proud, and you never see him push her around like she does. He does to Christina. So yeah, she's like the ringleader in this.
if she like and if she's playing her the whole time and if she wants to get her worried and worried, the idea that she's been so strong and then she starts getting worried, that's almost more of a reason for Christina to get worried because oh no, even she's worried now. Oh, this is real. This is like really bad. Like what's going on? And it's at that point on we start getting all these little hints. Like the suit that he was wearing shows up from the dry cleaners that arrives. The little boy says that the principal told him to like be punished for breaking the window.
Right?
All these little things and. There's a body in the newspaper that someone's been found and they think it's him.
Yeah,
She goes to the morgue.
yeah, and it's not him. So it's like, what's going on? And this is also where the inspector shows up, too. Who I thought he was another great character.
Yeah, because he has this thing where he's a retired police officer. He's just kind of like, oh, I do this kind of on my own time, and if I find something, you can pay me, and if not, no big deal. But he's been very, and I don't know if that's just a story. Like, I wonder if that he's just saying that to get her to feel more comfortable and.
Yeah, to let her guard down a little bit, like, because at this point, he can tell that she's worried about her husband gone missing, and he even kind of suggests, well, maybe there's some other ladies, and he'll turn back up,
Yeah.
and she kind of doesn't want to disagree with him, but is like, because she doesn't want to let on too much. But yeah, I thought he was a nice addition at that part of the movie because it added another wrinkle, because she has to look like she wants his help, but doesn't need him snooping around. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's the suspense again, because now there's another element mixed into the fray. Like, how does this develop? What's going on? And And you feel it building for Christina the entire movie. Like at this point, like everything just keeps piling. She ends up, getting sick, and the doctor's like, "Oh, you can't get out of bed. You're staying in bed now. Like you're just
Yeah.
not going anywhere." And Nicole basically flees, and and not just out of the blue. She talks to her about it. She wants to leave, and she tells Nicole to
Yeah.
go. So Nicole disappears, and that kind of leads to the final 10 minutes of the movie, where if there's one portion where you can call it a horror movie, it's the final 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's but again, like I don't know if just 10 minutes of movie makes it a genre. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, no,
but
that's
it
fair.
is horrific because once stuff starts going sideways, it's like, oh, what have I been watching? Like,
Because it starts off with just this great suspenseful stuff where she sees the light in like his office on from like across the other window, and she's like, "Wait, what?" And she goes looking, and it's all these shots of these dark hallways and like just her the little bit of light creeping through the door as she walks down, and she like hears someone, and we see the hand and the feet like opening another door, and it's this little game of cat and mouse in the shadows, and we're not quite sure what's going on, and it's really fascinating, entertaining stuff. She gets into his office, and there's like a hat and gloves next to the typewriter. After she's heard it being used, she's heard the typing
right.
from down the hall, and now there's just these gloves sitting there. And she runs back to her room, her bathroom, and then she sees him in the bath, as he was when he was dead. And then we
Yeah.
get one of the most genuinely creepy moments in any movie ever, as he slowly stands up like a zombie in the bath. Because I think genuinely the first time through, you're thinking a lot in the second half of this movie. Is he actually just alive, or is this supernatural?
Yeah, because one of the kids also, they're taking school pictures and they take a group picture, and one of the kids gets a hold of it and goes, "Hey, look, the headmaster's in the window." And they're like, "Oh, no, they can't be." And then they look at it and it looks kind of like him. It could be misconstrued else.
Yeah,
And
of
my
course,
dog's seeming to agree with me. So,
yeah. And if he is alive, then he was just standing at the window. He's intentionally doing these things, and so he stands up, and Christina has a heart attack. Her heart finally gives out. We've been hearing all movie.
Yep.
She has a weak heart. It finally gives out, and she dies. And once it does, he pops out his contact lenses to make him look more dead, and just steps out the bath and takes off his jacket. And then Nicole shows up and says, "Is it done?" And he's like, "Yeah, it's done." And then they kiss. They make out passionately, and it's like, holy shit, these are
that's
the
who the
fiends.
title was referring to. Yeah.
It's these two. And all of a sudden, you look back at the rest of the film, and it's like, okay, the whole thing was to give her a heart attack. That was the point. It was to.
And we kind of skimmed over why. She actually owns the school.
Oh yeah, she's the rich
He
one.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this was all a scheme so they could get the school and sell it and go be rich. Because at the end, Christina dies and they're moving all the kids out.
Because what I think I love about it so much is, first of all, the moment Ace gets out of the bath is great. Then you realise he's been faking it the whole time. He's actually been alive, and it's like, whoa! Like that. The first time I watched it, there was like just such a rush of like, holy shit, this is what's going on. And then when you find out about Nicole, though, I think that's the linchpin, because suddenly she seems more evil than he does. The fact that she's been playing her the whole movie, and that's when I was talking about how if she's playing her getting worried, her pretending to be scared at a certain point, is like her twisting the knife. It's like her making sure she's scared, and like I think obviously the idea that Christina's religious as well. The idea if these people are literally her devils, and because it's Nicole's idea to kill him, she tempts her with it. She dangles the apple, dangles the forbidden fruit, makes her take it, and then torments her for doing so.
And it's and it's the mistress character that's doing this.
Yeah,
like it's all there from the start. You just have to know what to look for. And that's why the twist works so well.
Yeah, it's preying on her own beliefs, because she believes it's a sin to do any of this, and all of it's reinforced by this like fake, like supernatural mystery elements that come after.
Yeah.
So
did you think someone was just messing with them? Someone had seen something, had seen them dispose the body the first time, or did you really think like this was legit supernatural? He was a undead person running around looking for vengeance.
I think the first time I probably did. I probably was thinking supernatural for a while.
Yeah. See, I was thinking someone had watched them.
Yeah.
And was going to take advantage of it. Not to teach them a lesson per se, but to be like, well, you got in way over your heads, and this is what happens with that. And then when she had the heart attack, I was like, oh, well, clearly he's in on it. So, oh wait, there she is. Oh. Was not seeing that coming whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
It's funny actually because watching it now that I've seen it before, it actually felt really obvious that she was in on it the whole time. But it didn't the first time. The first time it genuinely didn't. But the second time looking for it, it really feels that she's playing her the entire time. Like she's the one. No, well, this is the plan. I'll take you to this place. We'll do this. This is the plan. And it's like, and yeah, then it makes sense. Okay, he did give in to that phone call to come and see her really easily. That's why, because he was in on it. It was all part of the plan. It's really well constructed in that sense. So to sum up the ending, I want to say it is legitimately one of my favorite endings of like any movie ever.
yeah, it's solid for sure. Up till this point, I think Strangers on a Train was one of my favorite like suspense thrillers. Just because you have a carousel scene in there, and it's been a while since I've watched it, so I can't exactly remember the ending right now. But that was a high point. This is up there next to it for sure. And what's crazy is I did a little research after watching it, and Hitchcock apparently missed out on making this by like a couple hours. He had made the phone call later than Clouzot did. Clouzot, however you pronounce it. It's French.
Clouzot.
Clouzot. So like the Pink Panther.
Yeah, Inspector
But spelled
Clouseau.
differently. Gotcha.
At least
yeah, and
I'm assuming that anyway, just because I know that name.
Yeah, and it's funny how I don't know if he was just drawn to the source material because this was a book beforehand, and that's what made it like Hitchcock, or if he would have told it the same way. You know, it's one of those big what ifs to me.
I mean,
I think it still would have been enjoyable, but I don't know if
Yeah.
he would have done the stuff with the lighting because he was much more of a quicker film type guy.
yeah,
And this seems like a lot of care was taken.
yeah, I think Clouseau with the quiet scenes, because that whole
Yeah.
thing up the build up at the end up until she gets to the bath, that entire thing is painfully quiet. And that's the point. It's just you hear the subtle little movement, so that when someone you do hear a door opening, it feels like, oh crap, something's happening. Like it really
Yeah.
feels it, and the whole thing is very tense. And it's tense because it's silent. That's a big thing that's going on there. In fact, that's one of my big things that I always complain about with modern horror movies is that they feel they need to be really noisy as much as humanly possible.
I was explaining that to a student today, quiet loud, because he jumped out and got me, and I was like, "Well, you didn't get me because you scared me. You got it because you were loud, and that's not the same thing."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, it nuts." I was like, "No, man, we're gonna talk later, all right?" And we never had that talk.
It's
But,
suspense versus surprise. Surprise isn't really
Yeah.
scary. It's just
No.
the surprise.
Well, I don't go through haunted houses just because I don't have the flight response. I only have the fight response. So when you jump out at me, my first instinct is to swing, right? I don't want to do that watching a movie. If I'm watching a horror movie, I want to sit there and take it in. And it's fine if there's a jump scare. Jump scares are fun. It gets the adrenaline pumping, but I would much rather have like a Halloween. There's not too many loud moments on Halloween, right? You're my de facto.
No, I mean there's some music stings, but they're nothing compared to what you get now. It's very
Yeah. Because just you making me jump doesn't mean I was scared. It just means
Yeah.
I was surprised. Like you're saying,
And there isn't a single jump in this. It's not a jumpy movie. It's a
Nope.
oh god, when's it going to happen? And again, this is a big thing with suspense is that the reason why it works is because we know part of what's going on. It's like if you don't know anything, it's hard to get invested. But
there's a sense of dread.
yeah. Whereas
Yeah.
like the first half of the movie plays very much on the idea that we kind of know what the plan is, and it's just about can they actually pull this off? Can the nervous woman who's like clearly terrified and is having second doubts or second thoughts about it, like can she pull it off? And then the second half is where the mystery comes in, and we have enough context and we have enough about her character that it plays in that a little bit more. And because that whole part at the end, like, okay, is it him? Is he around? Is it him that's walking around? Like, is that what she's seeing? Or is it in her head at this point? Like, has she gone mad because of the stress and because she's
Right.
got these heart problems and stuff? So you're really going through it, but you care about what it is, and that's the important. Like, a lot of horror movies today will just like, oh, because we made a loud noise, you care that it's scary, and it's like, no, I don't care. Like, making me care is important. Once I care, if I care about the character, so.
Yeah, there's this old saying, at least when it comes to wrestling, that people don't remember what you say; they remember how you made them feel, or they don't remember what you did; they remember how you made you do. And that really goes well with suspense. So if
Yeah.
I can remember that feeling of dread, I'm gonna remember that kind of terror as he's rising up out of the bathtub more than if he had just jumped out and it was like a jump scare.
Oh
You know,
yeah.
because then it's just cheap and whatever. But
It,
yeah, definitely it's how you make you feel for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. That is like one moment that it's been a few years since I watched this since the first
Hmm.
time. That moment of him standing up in that bathtub is never left my head. That is
Yeah.
distinctly in there, and it's never going anywhere. And that's another thing. It's like the suspense works so well in that last like sequence of like sneaking around the corridors because we've been building this mystery for about an hour at this point. Like that's how long we've been building this, so that
Hmm.
we do really care about what is the answer to this because we've been with her on this journey and she's been growing more agitated and more scared by what's going on and all this stuff. So it's expertly done in that sense. I mean, clearly I love the movie. Like
Yeah.
this
Again, you've been trying to get me to what? Well, not again. I was telling this to my wife. Basically, since I've known you and I've been asking recommendations, this has been on top of the list.
hmm.
So if you're gonna win any week, I'm glad this is the week because there's some stuff that I'm afraid you're gonna unleash on me that But this one's definitely. I'm glad I finally got around to watching it, and if I can find the Criterion, I'll probably pick it up
I think you should
because
be
it
able to.
is. Yeah.
Because I got the Wages of Fear first and I loved it, and then I got this because it was the same director, and then I loved this even more. That's how like
Hmm.
just the caliber here. Um, yeah, like I say, I think a lot of it works because a lot of the everything that pays off is set up. Nothing's just out of
Yep.
nowhere. Nothing just
And
is like
nothing's cheap. Yeah.
yeah.
There's. It's all again. I I complain that it's a little bit deliberately paced, but that's the reason you get to know the characters. You get to know Christina and realize that she is on the precipice, like of her heart condition. Like just one small thing will set her over,
It,
and she
it
shouldn't be doing any of this.
Yeah, and you wouldn't hate the husband as much to be okay with killing him
Right.
if you didn't see the
Right.
various instances in the first half hour where he treats her like absolute shit, and it happens several times to the point of like, oh, this is how just how systematic he is with this behavior.
Hmm.
I mean even that feels too pleasant for him because it's not even systematic. It's just no, this is what he's like every single day. This is how he
Yeah.
speaks to her, and I think that's important. But I think even on a first viewing though, once you get to that her house, once you get to Nicole's house, it doesn't let up for the rest of the movie.
Mm.
You're grabbed in, you're hooked in, and it does not
Yep.
leave for the rest
Well,
of it.
and that's true too. Because up to that point, I was kind of like, all right, let's get the show on the road. When is something going to happen? And then boom, right as soon as you get to her house, that's when everything, and it becomes a suspense movie versus just like again
Yeah.
a slice of life that's informing your what was I going to say? It's informing your experience.
And
The
I
movie.
think I think on a second watch you'll actually not
Hmm.
feel that grind with the first half hour quite as much. I think
Yeah.
because you'll be looking for the character things. You'll be saying, okay, how is she playing her? What's going on
Hmm.
here? And you'll maybe be noticing smaller things you didn't before.
So again, I don't mind a deliberately paced movie if there's a reason for it. If it's just like a
Mm.
slow plotting for the kind of the sake of it, then yeah, that's kind of bad
It's
filmmaking.
it's setting the tone because once it gets to the sort of the attempted murder scene, that's a
Yeah.
very slow paced scene with great suspense, and by having the slow pace already there, it feels natural in the story as opposed to it being really quick and then all of a sudden slowing right down.
Yeah.
You don't want whiplash. You don't want the audience to feel like
No.
they're on
No.
this back and forth kind of thing.
Yeah.
Pacing has to be consistent to a point.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't want it rubber banding. I think that's important. Uh, so no, I think some of the best villains in movie making, some of the best tension, some of the best mystery. Nah, and like I say, this floored me the first time I saw it, and it's not dropped since.
I would tell people to go watch it, but try to be unspoiled. But if they've made it this far, they've probably already seen it. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. All they don't care about spoilers. In which case, I feel bad
Yeah.
for you because this one is
Yeah.
this one keeps you on the edge of the seat.
Hmm.
In a lot of ways. And like I say, the acting's important as well because you have the two women are very different. One is confident, one is like very no, this is what we need to do. This is and even the way they dress like tells you about this. You know, something as simple as costume design. She's in sunglasses and like a sweater that's over her shoulders and kind of posh, whereas you know Christina is more of a kind of homely, like quiet woman and like dresses as you would expect her to dress.
Yeah, she's very plain, like, and not in a bad way, but she's, you know, there's nothing much to her. Like she wears her hair in braids, you know, or it's not very stylish. Or you look at Nicole and she's dressed up even for her job as a teacher.
Yeah, yeah. So you know, it's timid and confident, and it's playing with that the entire movie and how they both react to everything. And when you do watch it a second time, you see how she is kind of manipulating her and controlling her and dictating what she's doing, and then dictating the reactions a little bit more in the second half. So I guess we'll get to ratings. So, Matt, what would you rate Diabolique out of 10, or Diabolique?
Oh man, that's can't remember what I gave the last one we did to try to keep it.
I can't remember either.
Congress, I can't either. I'm gonna give this an 8.5, 8.5.
8.5. Yeah. Well, I know what this is for me because it's one of my small select group of movies that has garnered a 10 for me.
There you go.
And I stand by it after another viewing. So,
yes, it's there's a reason why I've heard of this and just hadn't seen it, and why it gets tossed around when you're talking about great suspense movies. So, you know, 62 years old again. I think it earned that 10. Had I known you were going with 10, I probably would have given it a little bit of a higher score. But, you know. That's
why I asked you first. I don't want you...
I know.
I want an honest score. That's what I want from you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, 8.5 is probably fair. It would have been much higher. It would have been a 9. 8.5, 9-ish.
This is the thing with picking movies we love. One of us is bound to give it a pretty high score. So that has been this month's 121 Overload. I should tell you what's up for vote this month for next month's episode. My pick for next month is Under the Skin, which is the Scarlett Johansson alien sexual not psychological, sort of alien artistic thriller, I'll call it. She plays an alien who hitchhikes through Scotland, picking up men, and well, I'll just leave it. I won't spoil what she's doing to them, but that's the plot of the movie I love. It's very art house, very kind of Kubrick-esque, but with more of an edge. And then
you just hit. Anytime I hear Kubrick-esque, it makes my skin crawl. Because there's only one Kubrick, so as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not a big fan of his as it is. So I know that's probably heresy.
That's heresy.
Some film circles, but you know.
And Matt's pick, what's your pick, Matt? You tell them.
A little bit more fun. Or we're gonna go with a Guy Ritchie gangster movie, and probably his biggest, not in terms of like great, but Rock and Rolla. Just a lot of fun. It's a character ensemble, and I gotta make Pete watch something that's gritty, but in like a fun way, not gritty in like a David Lynchian way.
I don't know if I'd describe David Lynch as gritty.
No, there's like in Blue Velvet, the whole underground. I would say that's pretty gritty, like the underbelly. You know, this is Guy Ritchie doing what Guy Ritchie does best. So, Gerard Butler, I know he's near and dear to your heart.
I wouldn't say that so much, but So you've got the option of a challenging film that'll make Matt think and possibly hurt, and then you've got a fun
British gangster movie that you're gonna have to make Pete watch, which that's not his wheelhouse, guys. I don't know if you guys know this. He likes arty.
But the question is though, what will be more interesting of a conversation? Will it be the movie that's going to really hurt Matt, or the movie where I'm just kind of like, meh?
You can meh all you want. I'm gonna be very excited talking about just the names alone in Rock and Rolla.
I'm going to meh my way through it, probably, unless it surprises me.
Guys, don't let me down. Don't let me down. I do not want to see Under the Skin. There's two movies that I've said that I do not want to watch, and Pete has put them both on his list.
You do realise that you saying you don't want to watch it is the
I
biggest
know.
vote for me ever. Like, that's the biggest, like,
Maybe. We
that's
might have some
self-sabotage.
nicer. I feel like I didn't want to get involved. It's like when you're doing an experiment, you can't get involved too much because you don't want to alter, you know. This one I definitely want to alter it into the thing that I want. So I will be campaigning hard for Rock and Rolla.
Oh well, you heard patrons. Patrons at $5 and up can vote on that. The vote is still up. Just click on the patrons voting tab at the side on patreon.com/mailfuzztv and you can check out the current votes for this month. And a bunch of other stuff. So that's us. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to support the channel, head over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv. You can do that over there. But otherwise, that is us. So I actually didn't need to say that Patreon thing again. I'm so used to saying it there at the end with everything else, but I'd already mentioned it. It was pointless. I apologise. Yeah. I'm not trying to shove it down your throat. Right. I'm just on autopilot. But there you go.
And I didn't catch it because when Pete goes into his plugs, I tune out a little bit. So, yeah.
I'm going to have to start sort of slipping insults into the middle of those.
I'll hear that, though.
We'll see. That is us, so thanks for watching,
Rock and Roller GTFO, guys.
Well, alright, we'll see you next time. Keep watching movies. Goodbye.